So good to be here. We are, we're just going to I'm going to let Dr. TT. So this is Tracy Timberlake, lovingly known as Dr. TT. So just make sure you know that when you hear me saying Dr. TT, that's who I'm speaking of. And it is so amazing to be in this space with her because I knew Dr. Tracy Timberlake before she was Dr.
Right.
Tracy Timberlake.
That's true.
And it's amazing just to see the journey that so many of us have been on, right, in our lives, in our businesses, in our own growth. And Dr. TT was an individual who, when I kind of was moving out of my own organization after I had sold it, I had stayed on as senior leadership, and I was moving into what's next. Dr. TT is who I invested in to help me kind of move into this. Listen, I was used to brick and mortar, everybody. So moving into this online space, and even today still is this challenge, right? This navigating piece that we have to learn. And so Dr. TT was that first literally coach that I invested in to help me show up powerfully. And so this is like, when I say I have top 3 coaches, Dr. TT is in that top 3. She has become a friend. She has become a confidant. Whenever I'm in Miami, she makes time for me if she's in town. And we just really have delicious conversations that are beyond surface, right? We support one another, we edify one another, we keep it real with one another. We hold confidences for one another. And I just think that is so incredibly crucial in business. So as we are going to have our conversation today, this is very organic. I believe in organic conversations. That's why it's the quintessence of leadership, because it's all of those things that have made us who we are today and where God is taking us even further. So with that, Tracy, I would love for you to just share a little something with people about you. And then we can just get this party started.
Yeah, well, I know. I feel like it's one of those times where if we could just record, a conversation over lunch, it would just be, so exciting. Which has happened. We've been at lunch in different capacities, and people have come up to us after. Remember that one time when she was like, "I just want you guys to know," like they were like eavesdropping, I guess, on our conversation.
They were totally listening.
Right, they were listening. They're like, "You guys are fabulous." I don't even know what we're talking about.
I don't either.
Sitting there trying to eat Cajun food.
Yes, totally. Oh my gosh, that is awesome.
I know. So anyway, hi everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining, or maybe you're watching the replay. Just like Alicia said, I'm Dr. Tracy Timberlake. I get the wonderful opportunity of working with powerhouse individuals like Alicia in bringing ideas to a virtual space, because oftentimes people come from, like she said, a corporate background, and getting into the online world is a little bit different, and there's a little bit of a different technique and a little bit of different strategy. And so helping them kind of develop a message that can go out beyond boardrooms, classrooms, office spaces. And so that's been a treat for me, helping people just show up as who they truly are. Because I think what happens is when we think about, showing up online, people often want to put on that corporate hat again, and they want to kind of put on the suit and like, okay, here we are. And I'm like, no, that's no one wants that. Like, we want authentic version of you, the brilliant version for sure. But helping people to navigate that world is just different. I don't want to say it's hard. It's different for a lot of people. And so I get a chance to just help lead them into that space and help lead them into making their dreams come true and showing up for the version of them that God has sort of always wanted them to be.
And Dr. TT, I am always fascinated by your thesis for your doctorate. Can you just share a little bit about, like, I think that it's so fascinating. I never will forget, like, because it was cutting edge, right? Thought leadership, cutting edge. Even the school hadn't seen it before.
Right. It really was based off of women entrepreneurs and how they were showing up, and then just the efficacy of coaching for women entrepreneurs. And what I found in the research is that women really were leading the way for economic growth. They were leading the way in small business. They were leading the way in enterprise and in leadership. And I don't think anybody had ever really paid that close attention to what women were doing as a whole. Like, yeah, women-owned businesses were being started more than any other kind of business.
Right.
And so that led to just a lot of different side conversations about things like, how do women get investor funding? How do women get sponsorships? How do women find rooms that they can be in? So that the work that I got to do there really was the foundational pieces for a lot of the classes and courses that I teach now, which supports mostly women. There's some guys too. So for the guys who join in on us, shout out to you. But yeah, it really was, like I said, just the foundational piece for a lot of the work that I do now in supporting women-owned businesses specifically because of what we can do and what we have been to the economic growth of the world.
Wow, very powerful. And even to that point, Dr. TT, as I began, I mean, I know I began my entrepreneurial journey in 2004, biopharma co-founder, but you hit it right on the head when you move into that virtual business space, right? When you're doing business online, it requires a different capacity of the person to show up, and it's just so powerful to have someone such as yourself who was so clear on what that took to be successful, and then to move into getting a doctorate about studying the economic growth of women in leadership and in business is so powerful.
Yeah,
and like you said, a few of those brave guys too, right?
Yeah.
Those brave guys that
they'll join us.
Yeah, to hitch their caboose to our train. It's pretty awesome.
And quite frankly, it's the smart thing to do.
Thank you. I love that. Yeah. So you have been in entrepreneurship since?
Well, I officially left my job, started my business in 2016. I had been online as an influencer, as a personal brand since 2012.
Okay.
So 2012 is when I really started taking YouTube seriously. That's kind of where I came from, in case anybody's interested. Making videos, and no one was really doing it back then. Like, we were doing it just for fun. Like, oh, I like to put makeup on. I like to do my hair, and so let me turn a camera on and show you what I'm doing. And that's how it started for me. Is that people just asked me, well, what do you use for your hair, or how do you do that? And I was like, oh, well, let me just film a video. And not knowing what that would lead to. And this is what I always say to people: you never know what something is going to lead to. You just have to take that step, right? Was it weird for me to turn a camera on and talk to an inanimate object? Yes. And I tell you, I'm like, I leave that first video up on my YouTube channel on purpose because it's humbling. Humbling. You can go back and you can see, like, it was bad. That when you show up anywhere for the first time doing something, it's going to be bad, but you have to be willing to be bad at something in order to be good at something. You know what I mean? So, so 2012 was when I first started as like taking content creation seriously. And then my business started 4 years later.
So I want you all to just really pin that piece. You have to be willing to be bad at something to get really good at it. And how Dr. TT leaves that video up on her YouTube channel. So it's a reminder, right? And it's a refreshing reminder that what you see today, there was a beginning to that, right? And she's still iterating. We're going to talk about that iteration process to kind of where she is today and what she's working on. But those are those things that success is not always pretty, right, Dr. TT?
No.
It starts very
different. As a matter of fact, it rarely is in the beginning.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, it rarely is. Let it be ugly, do it ugly, and then you won't be afraid of anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're just willing to do it ugly for a little while and willing to do it like a newbie for a little while, like I know that I'm new at this. I know that I'm going to be a rookie for a period of time. So, just be that, and then be really good at being a rookie so that you can be better when you're a veteran.
Ooh, and give yourself grace as a rookie, right?
Right.
And don't compare, because if you're going to compare, it will stop you dead in your tracks.
Right. Yes, exactly.
I love that. So you started 2012 personal brand, 2016 kind of left your corporate. I know you were in education, higher learning, and then kind of moved into this space. And so as anyone who may be watching, who may be in business, right? So there's levels to this thing, right? There's levels to business. And I think we forget too, even those of us who may be in career as well as maybe our own bit, there's still levels in your career. There's still levels in your journey, right? Yeah. And so sometimes we're harder on ourselves as business owners. So Dr. TT, can you like as you were 2016, can you just kind of talk through some of the shifts in your mind, right? In your spirit that you had to make, because being an employee is different than being an entrepreneur. So
Yeah.
can you just talk to us about some of the mindset components that can benefit some of our listeners today, or our replay listeners, as they're moving through life, career challenges, all of that?
Yeah. And I'll say this is that you have to know who you are on this journey, right? Because it's so easy, as you said, Alicia, that you can compare to other people and think, oh, I should be here, I should be doing that, or I should be further along, or I should, and so you really have to know yourself when you enter into this journey, and know like what your skill set is, what your capabilities are, and how you're going to show up. If you are a person that is, let's say, bad at time management in a regular job, you're going to be bad at time management as an entrepreneur. Like you don't become a new person. Like you are who you are, and it's going to be amplified. So for me, the things that I knew I was very good at were like, I am a very focused person, right? Like if I want something, I'm going to do it. Like I'm going to fight for what I want, and I'm going to get it. And I knew that about myself. I didn't know all the steps. I didn't know all of the ins and outs of everything, but I knew what I wanted, and I knew that I was capable of getting what I wanted, because there are so many times in the past where I've done it. And for most people who enter into entrepreneurship, there are instances in your past where you can see that as well. If you went to school, like you had to get a degree, like, so that means you had to stick with something for a period of time. Like you don't enter into as a freshman and you graduate in, 4 months later. Like, you know that there is process. And if you're okay with that kind of process, then you can be okay with entrepreneurial process. So I'm saying this knowing, like, know yourself, because there are times in your past where you can see that you can do it. Oftentimes there's this, and I blame the market, and I blame coaches, we are that, but like, and I'm not blaming us, I'm blaming like the industry, where there's a lot of people will say like, oh, all you have to do is just do this for 90 days and then done. And it's like, that's a lie.
Yes.
That's
Come
a
on.
lie.
Yes.
Like, you are lying to the people. If somebody tells you you can start today and then 90 days later, now I'm not saying it can never happen. It's just not the norm, because there's so much that you have to learn along the way. It's not because it's impossible. You can absolutely make $1 million in 90 days. But if you don't know how to do it, you're probably going to spend more time learning how to do it than actually doing it. And so, just like Alicia said, give yourself the grace and the space. But the transition is really about, can I get the thing that I want? And am I willing to do the things that's required? If the answer is yes, then you're probably just setting yourself up for success there. But if you get really frustrated, if things don't go your way the first time, or if you're a perfectionist and you can't let that go, you may want to rethink it, or at the very least get some help, because help will allow for you to sort of overcome some of those hurdles and humps along the way.
Yeah. And I love what you're saying about the coaching industry, because I can see the, and I'm going to use the word, I can see the decline in it since we started.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Where we are today. It is, there are people out here who are feeding garbage, right? And garbage in, garbage out. And people are wondering why they're not getting results.
Right.
And so you're right, Dr. TT, align yourself with someone that has receipts, okay? And who is not going to just feed you what you want to hear, who is going to challenge you, who is going to hold you accountable, and who can actually support you in moving the needle to meeting your initiatives and your goals. And I also want to touch back on what you said about evidence. Really, that's the word that's what you're talking about. You see the evidence from the past. You've gone to school, you've attained something, you've gotten the degree, you've gotten the certificate, you've finished the course, whatever it is. You can anchor yourself in that truth of knowing who you are, knowing, okay, I have the ability to finish this, and getting that level of, to your point, support in moving the needle forward for yourself. So important. Dr. TT, you have attained quite a bit of success, right? What people call success, financial success, opportunity success, the rooms you walk into and the access you have. A lot of people don't have. I have been able to gain access to things because of you, right? This is the importance of proximity, people. Understand proximity and community. And I also want to just caveat really quickly before I keep going. Access, friends, requires investment. Okay. It does
Yes.
not,
Say
it
that
does,
again. Say it
come
again.
on. Access requires investment.
Mm-hmm.
I had someone, I was hosting a lovely tour called Bites and Insights Tour. And I had someone reach out to me and ask me for my behind the scenes. Like literally,
Why would I give that to you?
I didn't understand. And this is what we have to understand, people.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ask people for their IP, for to pick their brain. You must understand that there is an investment required for that.
Right.
Whether someone gives you, it's an investment of time,
Mm-hmm.
energy, finances,
Yeah.
be willing,
Mm-hmm.
because that is that investment. You're investing in yourself to
Yeah.
move what you are called to do forward. So, in listen, proximity requires investment.
Yeah.
All the thing, if I want to be around certain people, I want to gain their wisdom, their insights, I will invest in what they're offering.
You're
I will
right.
invest to be in the room with them.
Right.
So understand it requires investment. And I'm just going to say that straight up. And that investment, my investment in Dr. Titi, listen, you all heard me say I invested in her. And let me also say, I still invest in her when she's got something that I know is calling
It's
me, is
true.
for
Thank
me.
you. And
I
I thank you.
still, yeah, amen. And so I invest in her. So it's not that when you, and you have to, if you become friends with someone, you still have to honor their gift. You still have to honor how they're creating
Yes.
their lifestyle, right? So understand that it requires investment. So so that's just so important. But that proximity, because of me investing in Dr. Titi and my proximity to her, it has opened doors for me. She has made introductions. She has allowed me to accompany her into certain rooms. And that's what happens when you build rapport and you build a relationship and you invest your time in creating a connection. So that's very important to know.
Yeah.
And so, Dr. Titi, as you have, right, you evolve, right? Here we are, 2025. So we have evolved in your journey.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing today? So from where you started to what you're doing today, and I mean a lot of the things. I saw you behind the scenes at a particular conference recently.
Yes.
Yes,
That's been
like
so great.
yes,
Um,
yes.
right. So business is as fluid as you allow for it to be, right? And I'm such a big fan of allowing all of your gifts and passions to come to the surface when it's the right time. Not every time is not the right time. Let me just say that. Like sometimes you gotta wait.
Yes.
Having said that, what I've noticed in the 10 years of coaching people is that there is, back to what we said earlier, there is no cookie cutter way of doing anything, right?
No.
There's no one strategy that fits all. And I think in talking to people, I recognize that there are certain giftings that do better in certain spaces and certain giftings do better with certain strategies. And I've sort of been doing this all along when I've been working with clients, is there's never like one cookie cutter thing. Having said that, 3 years ago, I started on this transitional journey within my own business of like, I know that there's something, and you're going to find this in the context of your business because there's always an ebb and flow. And if you are really tuned in to like what you're supposed to be doing, you should feel like there are different things. And so 3 years ago, it started this journey of this conversation that I was having with God of like, well, this no longer, it's not that I can't do those things. Those things are profitable. I can do them. I just feel like there's something else. And so I started to study myself and figure out like, okay, like what does this mean? And I always will go back to the Bible and I'll do the Bible studies and recognizing like what is the gifting and the calling and the purpose and what's the mantle to play that's placed on myself. So I started studying just all of the mantles in the Bible, like here are all of the different ones. It took about 3 years to kind of come to a conclusion of what that looked like. And then earlier this year was invited to the International Leadership Summit in Orlando with TD Jakes, and that opened up my eyes to have a different level of conversation with leaders specifically, and then created something called the Mantle Assessment, which now, and Alicia, I've created a lot of things and I'm proud of all the things that I've created. I really, really am. But when I tell you like, this is the thing that I'm like, this is the thing that I'm the most proud of, mostly because it does not even feel like I created it. Half the time it just feels like and this is going to sound so weird and metaphysical and whatever, but it really does feel like I did not create this. I just
Yeah.
get to steward it now. Like of all of
Mm.
and I went to seminary, so I have the background in the theological training. I have all that stuff. I was in ministry for a very long time, and I still am in ministry now. And so it's like everything came together. The research that I got to do when I was getting my doctorate and what I learned about research, plus like the business background, it's like everything sort of converged and hit this like magical moment of like, let's teach people what their mantle is. And I was like, well, how am I going to do that? I don't know how people are going to find their mantle. And then so that's how the assessment came to be. And through the really, it was hard for me to do because I didn't want to do it. Like it's one of those things where I was like, I don't have to do this. Like I have a whole business that's successful. But it was calling and calling. And so through the tears and through the journey of birthing something that never was my idea to begin with, I got a chance to create this assessment. And when I tell you, I love it so much because of, and I'm going to say this, and this is, remember what I said, I don't feel like it's me, but when I tell you, I really do think that this is the best thing that exists out there to navigate this. Like, and in leadership, and we do this because we've taken all the assessments. We've done this. We've done Strength Finders. I have Colby. I've taken all of them. I've used all of them.
Yes.
And I have taken all of the assessments, the popular ones, not all. I mean, there's many, but the most popular ones. I've stacked them all up. I said, what's really good about this? And I said, where are the weaknesses? And I took all of the weaknesses, and then from those weaknesses created the Mantle Assessment. And so the Mantle Assessment, and everyone who's taken it, at least that I've talked to, have said it's magical. I don't even know like what it is. People are crying in the middle of answering questions. I'm like, they're just answering questions and crying. People are like, I read it every day. I finally see who I am. It is a very theological based assessment. So for those of you, just to understand that part, but it really helps you to understand how God has always seen you and sort of like the role that you are supposed to play in this world carrying that mantle. And what's really funny about this is because we've done all the assessments, like I can look at somebody and be like, oh, you're probably an Enneagram 8. Like because I've done all those assessments, I can't tell. I actually cannot tell. Until they take it and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I actually can't pinpoint what people's mantles are.
Wow.
And part of that, and here's why, because there's you're going to get 3 mantles. You're going to get a primary mantle. You're going to get a supportive mantle and a shadow mantle. Most people do not operate in their primary mantle because they're scared. Myself included, me included. I also took my own assessment. I was like, well, this is terrifying. It's very easy to operate in the second and the third ones. Because that's like the natural version of you. Like I'm a natural builder. So I have like a Nehemiah mantle. I'm a natural builder. I can build a funnel. I can build a business. Natural builder. That's not my primary mantle. My primary mantle is actually prophetic. And I don't operate in that because it's a terrifying one. You're like, well, that's not scary. So that's what's so interesting about it is that most people don't even operate in the thing that they're supposed to be operating in. And it gives people this level of confidence that I've seen that they just have not had prior to step into something that they've been afraid of.
Yeah, so amazing. So I took the assessment, as you know, and I had to wait till I was like, I needed to wait till I was still. And I was like, okay, give it what it deserves, right? Give it the honor that it deserves. And so I was like, I'm going to do it, Tracy. I'm going to do it. And you're like, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
And
because it's long. It's an assessment. It's not.
It's long. Yeah.
It's not 5 minutes.
No, it's comprehensive. And let me tell you, powerful. My primary was Joseph. And you were like, oh, yeah.
You can see it when it's there. You're like, that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. Like Joseph, marketplace mantle, understanding what it looks like to lead people in that kind of context, knowing how to organize things and move things around. Like it's a mantle that you definitely carry, but are we truly operating in the fullness of it?
No.
We're working on it.
We're working on it.
Right.
And I have to tell you, and it's so funny because this is when there's divine order in your relationships, because I use mantle like all the time. I talk about people and their mantles, been using it for years. Dr. TT talks about mantles, and then she actually creates a mantle assessment. And let me tell you something too, those results, each one of those, it's not just one page that when you get the
report,
it is a report. Like each one of your primary, secondary, and tertiary, they're like 12 and 13 pages each.
It's like 35. It's like 35 pages.
Is it 35 each?
Oh my God.
Because I thought I was going to print it, and I was like, oh my gosh, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's 15 pages front and back. It's and so that's what took so long too. It's like it's 350 pages worth of research for anybody that actually cares. Like it took me a really long time to like research everything, write everything out, and because it had to be psychologically valid, theologically correct, I had to pray over every single one. I mean, there was a lot. Like and that's why I was crying because I was like, this is annoying. I don't want to be doing this.
Right, Greta. That word again, mantle. You know, I use it all the time. So I love it. And I love Dr. TT. I want you all to hear what she said. Research, 3 years. So sometimes we get the nudge from God, right? We get the nudge, we hear it, we know we have the anointing, but it doesn't mean it's to be birthed in that moment. So understanding yourself, let's go back to know thyself, as Dr. TT said, know who you are. Right? We don't need to be anyone but ourselves. We get to bring our whole selves to everything that we do. And it doesn't mean that your calling is going to be easy. Research, right? She learned some things from when she got her PhD. So there were things that she was learning that she was taking and it was being used. So none of this took God by surprise. And so we have to allow ourselves to not be surprised, but to also not operate in haste and understand that it will be revealed and we will move forward in the gifting in the manner that we're called. So, and you heard her saying, research, tears, okay, tears. Yeah. How many of us have created something and there's tears, or we have something to do before us and there's tears of just, oh, there's angst, there's anguish, there's struggle. So lean into that, right? She didn't give up. She didn't give up. I didn't hear her say she gave up.
Right. I did not.
Right.
I did not, because one thing, and this is why it's important to know yourself, because you've done hard things before. You have done harder things than whatever it is you're called to do right now. I promise you've done harder things. If you've birthed a child, you've done harder things. If you've, gone through school and didn't know how you're going to get through it, you've done harder things. So one thing is just recognizing, like, I've done hard things and I can push through this. I've done things before. I can do it again. It's okay. It's okay.
Yes. And going back to your other comment, because Felice has it here, do it ugly, right? Do it ugly. Yeah. Yeah. And I just want to acknowledge, hey, Shanella, she's tuning in from New Jersey. So this is great. And Dr. TT, we're wrapping up here. We have a couple of minutes left. I'm gonna add to this live, friends, how you can take the assessment if you want to.
It's free, so take it.
Right. The assessment is free. Take it and be where you can be quiet and have really, I'm going to say, just give yourself an hour. It may take you 30 minutes. It may take you 45, but give yourself an hour uninterrupted, because you want to be real. And it's really powerful. It's really powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for just everything. Thank you for, and it's really funny. Dr. TT, she is an influencer, y'all. Her Instagram, she has all them numbers. You know how all those people have like all those thousands of people? She really has that. And then it was really funny because, and I call it Tiki Taki. When Tiki Taki came out, she was on there and she has the numbers over there too. It's just like, that is her mantle, right? That's her anointing to build communities, build influence. And she uses her influence responsibly. That's what we need to, we got to use our influence responsibly. And we've got to move forward responsibly as we're called. And so, Dr. TT, as we're wrapping up, what would you like to say to those listening today, just as they move forward? What would you love to share? What's on your heart?
Yeah, I would love to share that, the world is moving so fast. This is not like a fear tactic thing of like, we're just running out of time, like, because time is just moving so quickly.
Yeah.
And the longer that you wait, the more life is going to pass you by. Like those 3 years that I spent working on, mantles, I didn't know what it was going to become, but 3 years were going to pass anyway. So I might as well do something productive with myself, build a business, build something. Right. And so what Alicia's getting a chance to do here is putting you in front of people that may be inspirational, maybe motivational, maybe educational in a way. These kinds of spaces, don't take them lightly, because Alicia's time is incredibly valuable. She doesn't have to do this. She does not have to do this. Believe me, she could go work with somebody, make, thousands and thousands of dollars. But the time and intention that she's put into bringing together these kinds of conversations is important because we know the importance of the conversation.
Yes.
We know the importance of, making sure that people are aware that there is evidence in front of you beyond yourself, that there's evidence of what is possible. So whatever you're gleaning from this conversation or from other conversations, I know she's doing a series of these over the course of the summer. Don't take them lightly. Take notes. Listen to them again.
Yes.
Take action when the action presents itself, whether it's the Mantle Assessment or somebody else presents something or Alicia is inviting you to something. Take the action, because it's the action that's going to get you to the next step. Sitting and stewing is going to do nothing, and it serves nobody to do that. So let's take some action.
Yeah. Let's move, people. Let's move. And one thing that has been really on my heart lately is the provision has already been made. The provision has been made, but are you willing to do the preparation? Tracy did the preparation, right? She was in the lab. It's the preparation that leads to the provision and the abundance that's already yours. But are you willing to do the preparation, right? So prepare for your next level. Prepare now for what you're asking, praying, petitioning for. Do the preparation now, because the provision has already been made for you. And that's what I want to leave you with. So feel free to replay, watch the replay, share it. I'm going to come back and drop Dr. TT's Mantle Assessment link into the comments as well. Definitely take it. And I'm telling you, it is so powerful. So, and she said the assessment is free, but give yourself an hour.
Yes, give yourself an hour. Thank you.
Thank you for your yes, because Dr. TT is extremely busy too, friends. So thank you for your yes. And this is what happens. Once again, this conversation and this relationship right here is a demonstration of when you say yes to yourself, when you invest in yourself, when you invest in spaces, and you invest in building and cultivating relationships that are meant for you. So friends, until next time, thank you for joining us on the Quintessence of Leadership. All right.
Bye-bye.
That's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. Do you have some thoughts, comments, questions as well? Drop them below. I'd love to hear them and actually respond to you as well. Don't forget to hit that little bell that you see, because it'll notify you next time any new opportunities are posted to this channel. So thank you again. And until next time, remember, continue to build trust to transform. Whether it's transforming your community, your home, your business, your workplace, your voice is required. Looking forward to seeing you then. Bye.